Welcome to the WEInvested podcast, where we teach you how to save and make more cash. Today on the WEInvested podcast, we have Davonne Reaves, and she is the co-founder of Epiq Collective and one of the youngest Black women to co-own a property under a major hotel chain. Davonne, how are you doing today?
I am doing fabulous. How you doing, Wesley?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for joining me. I know you're a very busy woman with a busy schedule, so we'll just jump right into it.
Oh, stop it. I make time for you. Come on now.
Yes, ma'am. So before we get started, would you
Wait a
mind letting
minute. You're not about to be calling me ma'am throughout the entire year.
My bad. That's my fault.
You know that.
That's my fault. So before we get started, can you let the people know where they can find you on social media?
Oh, sure. You can find me at Davonne Reaves. So that's my Instagram name at DAVONNE Reaves, REAVES.
For sure. So let's just jump right into it. So what is Epiq Collective and how did you get it started?
Sure. So Epiq Collective, we are a commercial real estate firm, and we focus mostly on hotels. We do dabble a little bit in multifamily. But what we do, we provide an opportunity for folks who are looking to invest in hotels or commercial real estate projects. And they may not necessarily have all the capital to do it, but we have a notion called a collaborative economics or group economics, where we partner with people to invest in larger scale projects.
For sure. So how did you get, involved or interested in the real estate field?
I got into it actually working through a non-paid internship. So I got my start off in the hotel space, working as a front desk agent, and just did task force and everything. And then I got into the commercial real estate space by accident. I didn't know what commercial real estate was. I didn't know about hotel ownership. I just knew that I was curious, and I knew that I wanted to stay in the hotel space, but I wanted to do something different. And so I had an opportunity. So I worked at my non-paid internship in the morning from 9 a.m. to 12. I had to pay my bills because this was post-college. I graduated from college by then. And I worked from the Hyatt from a 1 to 9. And after 3 months, the job at the time is Panther, but now it's Horwath. They decided to keep me on, and that forever changed my life.
For sure. And before we get into exactly, what your company has been up to lately, would you mind explaining a little bit more about what group economics is? I believe I heard you mention that a little earlier for the people who may not be familiar with that.
Sure. So group economics, all it is just partnering. Wesley, let's say, what, you and your boys, y'all want to, develop a hotel or buy a hotel, right? Or you want to invest in one, and maybe let's say the minimum is, I don't know, 50 to 100,000. And you may not want to use all of your capital to do it, and you may want to partner with your friends, and so you're collaborating, right? So let's say it's 5 of you all, with 10,000, that's 50,000, right? So for those who may think is okay, I got to save, I got to do this, I got to do that. It's actually a lot of different creative ways as far as creative financing or creative ways for you to have your access to capital to invest. And so one of the ways is through partnership and partnering, meaning group economics or collaborative economics.
For sure. So, your company just closed an $8.3 million hotel deal during a pandemic. So, how was that process?
I tell you, like I say, it's that $8.3 million question. I constantly get that question a lot. The process is through relationships. A lot of people don't realize that the real estate space is definitely a relationship space industry. And so that's how we were able to find that deal. We partnered with Nassau Investments, and we worked with them on that deal. And that's how we were able to buy into the Hyatt franchise.
For sure. So,
Not the
what?
Hyatt, Hilton. Look, the Hilton.
For sure. So, what emotions were you feeling like when you closed that historic deal?
I did feel good. It was great because I set a goal. The goal was to close on a hotel. I didn't know it was going to be a Reno, but to close on a hotel prior to February 6th, which is my grandmother's birthday, and coincidentally, my late grandmother's birthday, and coincidentally, that's Jessica's birthday as well, my business partner. And so it was a bittersweet moment because I wanted my grandmother to see it, but she wasn't here. She's seen, I guess, in heaven above. And so it was a good feeling. It was a good feeling to call the investors who believed in us and to congratulate them and let them know that they're hotel owners. So that was a great moment. And actually, I'm more happier now than I was when I actually closed on the deal. And the reason why is, talking to people like yourself and talking to people who actually who worked in the hotel space or in the hotel space now, and they didn't think that it was possible to access hotel ownership. And now, by folks just hearing my story from becoming a front desk agent to a hotel owner, it gives them hope. It gives them inspiration, it gives them motivation, it makes them feel like, wow, I actually can become a hotel owner, or I actually can, I can actually play Monopoly in real life, because that's essentially what we're doing, right? And it's like, you grow up playing. I mean, I grew up playing Monopoly. I didn't think about owning a hotel. I worked in a hotel and still didn't think about owning a hotel. And so the fact is, it comes from having that mindset. It comes from, educating yourself. It comes from, really diversifying your investment portfolio. A lot of people don't realize that hotels is a class of real estate, so they don't think about adding that to their real estate portfolio when they're investing, developing, or acquiring.
For sure. And it's like, it's such a big goal. Like, it sounds unattainable to say like I own a hotel or I invested in a hotel. So I'm sure it's really hard for a lot of people to wrap their heads around it.
Yeah,
But your story is so motivational. It kind of just wakes people up and lets them know like I can do this too, or at least be a part of it.
absolutely. It definitely it's woken a lot of people up. I didn't realize, that our story. We've been very fortunate, Jessica and myself. You should bring her on this podcast too. She'll be good.
For
Um,
sure.
yeah. That our story was able to be a part of so many different media outlets and so many, different cultures, different races, in different countries. So it's been a great ride. But the thing is, as I say, it's only the beginning. It's not February, but it's only the beginning.
For sure. For sure. And earlier you kind of spoke about, the importance of relationships within the real estate industry. So, what's the importance of having a good team, and how did you kind of focus on building your team?
Oh, that's a great question. So actually, I talk about that a lot, about assembling an A team or assembling a king team. So I've been very fortunate to have a good eye of putting together a great team. As you can see, we were able to get to the closing table and get the keys. So I have a good eye for that. But it's important. A lot of times, and I'm starting to see it a lot, where people say they're an expert in this particular field, right? And if you just ask them one basic question, what projects have you worked on? Like, specifically, what projects have you worked on? They'll kind of, you'll weed out the bad apples, right? You have to do your homework. You have to check the references on people. I didn't just wake up one day, start talking about hotels. I've been in the hotel space for 14 years. So you can fact check me all you want, based on my experience, but I have the experience to prove it, right?
Sure.
So that's something that I check, when I'm working with other people. For instance, when I'm looking at a hotel property, to give you an example, if we're looking to bring on an operator, I check their history. I check their performance. I check, how they treat their other owners that are within their portfolio. So a lot of those things come into consideration. And then the same thing when you're assembling your team, regardless if you're in multifamily, regardless if you're in hotels, regardless if you're in single family, which I don't know too much about that state space, but the more and more I'm hearing about it, as far as a single family investing or real estate, um, it's the fundamentals are similar. And even if just other commercial real estate asset classes, when it comes to office or retails, you want to work for, and even if you have an award-winning team or an A team, you still want to be able to educate yourself, so that way you don't want to take the lazy approach where you just trust on your team solely, right? You want to be able to understand the fundamentals, understand the numbers, especially understanding the numbers. That's key. right? Understanding the numbers, understanding the market. And the reason why it's so important to understand the numbers, because at the end of the day, the biggest factor is return on investment. So you want to make sure when you invest in a property that you're achieving the highest ROI as possible, the highest targeted cash on cash return, as possible. And so I get questioned a lot as far as, getting the hotel space, like, what does it take? What's the capital? And it is expensive. So I'm not going to lie. It is for the big boys. When it comes to,
Right.
when it comes to, when I was, my previous, when I was in corporate, my last corporate position or 9-to-5 position, my portfolio was north of $1 billion,
Wow.
So, yeah,
Gotcha.
and it's just normal. It wasn't like it was, to me, it was just like, oh, okay. Oh yeah. And then when I added it up, I was like, oh, it's $1 billion. Okay, great.
For sure. You
Yeah,
got to have that bag if you want to play in commercial real estate.
exactly. You gotta have them bags, like for real. Not one bag, you gotta have multiple bags. And if you don't have multiple bags, you at least need to be partnering with people or equity partners who have bags. Absolutely.
For sure. So, with so many like odds stacked against you, you know what I'm saying? Also being a female and an African American female, with everything going up against you, how did you stay motivated to keep your business running and to keep it going with all the like naysayers and negative talk around?
You just have to stay focused. And actually being an African American and being a woman, that gave me more drive, because the space that I'm in is not a lot of people who look like me. It's definitely not a lot of people well, it's starting to become more and more people in my age group, just different cultures, but definitely not a lot of black folks. And so that's been more of a drive, because it's not just me. I've realized that it's a bigger picture. Hotel ownership is definitely one of the ways to create generational wealth. I've seen a lot of businesses and families create generational wealth through owning hotels and having a hotel portfolio. People don't realize that hotels is definitely can be a cash flowing asset. So it just kept me going, and I just stayed focused. I'm hearing and I'm seeing a lot of things on Instagram where people are talking about entrepreneurship, and even on Clubhouse, people talking about entrepreneurship and everything. And I find out that I wouldn't say nobody, but a lot of people, even people hear my story, they just think, oh, okay, I literally just woke up and I owned a hotel. No, I literally started off as a front desk agent. That's like what's not the lowest, but it's the entry level position. It's
Ground
an
floor.
hourly position, ground floor, exactly. And so when I started off, I thought my highest career path would have been a general manager at best, right? I didn't see anything above that. Definitely anything above property. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't understand that, being a lawyer for a hotel. I knew you could be a lawyer, but I didn't know you could be a lawyer for a hotel. I didn't know that you can be a hotel broker, meaning you're selling hotels. I didn't know that you can be, a capital markets person where you're raising capital for a hotel, or you can be a regional vice president of sales and marketing. So all of those different things, I didn't even know that was possible as a front desk agent. And so the point I'm trying to make is that you have to work hard, right? You have to work hard, and not even work hard, you have to work smart, and a lot of times I'm noticing that people are trying to take the easy way out to get to success. There's no easy road to success. If it is, then the whole entire world will be successful, right? So it's
Right.
either two ways to be successful. Either you pay somebody to help you be successful, meaning you literally have to pay, and 9 times out of 10, you have to pay top dollar. Or you have to do the work yourself. There's no in between. And I'm seeing a lot of people who are like, okay, well, if I pay $100 for this course or whatever amount, then I'll be a millionaire tomorrow. Okay, that is not possible.
Right.
It's not possible. I see it all the time, all these Instagram ads. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, are people buying this stuff? No, that's not how it works. And especially when you have people like me who are like, I literally have a roadmap on how you can to hotel ownership for free. I mean, come on. So I think people. One thing I've realized that people, how now, Wesley, do you know now? When you hungry, do you make bad decisions sometimes?
Yes, for sure.
So just think about it. So let's say you hungry in business, meaning like you hungry, you not thinking, and then you see this opportunity. Oh, boom. You know what? I can if I invest in this course for whatever amount of money, I'll be rich overnight. So you hungry, right? Because you hungry for that success. So you like, you know what? I'm in my mind, I'm gonna take the short way, the quick way, because this person told me who I think they're successful because they appear to be successful. When you don't know if they you rented everything on Instagram, and you're buying into this course, and then you don't do the work, or they're giving you something that they heard from somebody else who's actually successful, and now you're just out of money when really you could have used them. And I've been guilty of it. We've all been guilty of it. You use that money instead of investing in yourself or reinvesting in your business, you invested in somebody else. And so the reason why I'm saying all this is because I'm just hearing it more and more. I'm hearing it more and more on Clubhouse, and I hear more and more different podcasts and Instagram lives. And I'm like, what? Who? And then they have, you know what I found out? The people with like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers, right? They like rent their stuff. It's not even real. I can take a photo shoot in my hotel because I own it and I don't have to pay it. I don't have to rent a room to do a photo.
Facts.
Exactly. Right. And so, and I'm seeing people who literally have billions of dollars with like 200 followers. And so they're not getting the love. Even the same thing on Clubhouse. They're not getting the same love and respect because, they don't have a strong following, which that doesn't mean anything. Because if your followers ain't converting to money, or you're not able to monetize from it, it doesn't really matter. And I'm just saying this to say, because people, they think it's some type of like secret sauce. It's really just educate yourself, do the work, hire a professional if you have to. And if you don't want to hire one, do the work, but you can't be an expert in everything. And I realized that a lot of people, they want to cut corners because they say, okay, I can do here, I can do that. I'm not an expert in everything. I'm an expert in what I know, and what I don't know, I hire people.
For sure. And it's necessary to put in that 10,000 hours. Like you have to, like, because if it comes overnight and it comes fast, you'll lose it even faster, for sure.
Exactly. You have to, I mean, just think about it. We bought a hotel for $8.3 million. That's a little chunk, it's a little chunk change, right? And you can, when people invest in you and invest in that type of, to be a part of that deal, they're not going to invest in they don't care how many Instagram followers you have, right? They want to see if you're able to provide them their return on investment. So when you're paying for a service, or when you're trying to do any type of business, at the end of the day, everything is transactional. Everything is transactional. When you try to get something for free, it's still a cost, right? Because somebody is they're trying to get your email address. Like, everything is transactional. When you network with somebody, it's transactional. When you go to everything, right? And people don't understand that concept. And so that's what's helped me along the way, especially developing relationships, because again, everything is transactional. I constantly can't be asking, and I'm not giving. And I actually heard something from somebody, and it always resonated with me. And what they said was, you can't expect for anybody to invest in your business if you don't invest in your own business or anybody else's business. And once I heard that, my business models completely changed. And I'm saying this to say to anyone who's listening, if you can't invest in yourself to better your product and to better your service, or if you can't invest in somebody else's business, then you can't get upset when no one invests in yours.
For sure. So, what would you say is your favorite part about being an entrepreneur?
The flexibility. I've been an entrepreneur probably for about 3 years. Probably it's going on 4 years now. Oh wow, it's going on 4 years. I didn't think about it. And most sort of the flexibility. I'm able to make my own decisions. My mindset has definitely changed. Meaning, I think more strategically. Now I think even more strategically because I have a son. So the decisions that I made, pre-son or pre-mom life is definitely not the same as it is today. Have to be more cautious. because, you know, I have someone else that's depending on me. But probably, I mean, it's challenging to be an entrepreneur. A lot of people don't say that. People think it's like glitz and glam. I'm like, who told? I mean, it's a lot of work. I mean, in the beginning, especially in the beginning, it's a lot of work. Like it's hard. Especially you can go to school for entrepreneurship. You can do whatever. You will really never know until you get in the field and do it. Because everything is different. Every scenario is different. You know, it's just different. And another thing that people don't think about when it comes to entrepreneurship is owning a franchise or acquiring other businesses is a form of entrepreneurship. People think, oh my goodness, I have to create this new business model. I'm like, why? You know, that's like, you know, that's why I didn't create a new hotel model. For what? Hilton is there. Hilton is established. They have the recipe. Let me just buy into their franchise. I mean, how am I going to compete with Hilton that's been here? Their brand has been here longer than I've been alive, right? Longer than my mom been alive. You know what I mean? So why would I try to compete into that? So let me just buy into it, right? And maybe kind of adjust it to whatever I'm thinking or feeling, kind of thing. And the art of, or either mastering the art of acquisitions. And so I'm saying this to say, to kind of expand people's mind when it comes to thinking about entrepreneurship. Not going to status quo, whatever you see on Instagram or here in Clubhouse.
For sure. So, you know, what would you say is the single most important reason for your success?
That's a good look at you. Look at you with all these good questions. Got me thinking, Wesley. Look at you. Let me find out on WEInvested. Y'all be doing things. Wait a minute now. Ooh, the single thing. You know what? I've always been a determined person. I've always, actually, you know what? I take that back. Not determined, persistent.
Okay.
I'm a very, very, if I want something, I'm going to get it, right? Okay. I am going to get it. I am not going to sleep. I am not going to think about anything else until I get it. So when I wanted my jobs, when I wanted this hotel,
yes,
I was persistent with it, and I was focused. I was laser focused, and I mean that's probably the best thing that I can attribute to my success is being persistent. And I don't even feel like I'm successful. Everybody else is telling me that. I feel like I just got started. I feel like I really haven't done anything because I have so many more things that I want to achieve and I want to complete. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, you know. I guess maybe when I get my portfolio, it'll be different.
So like, how does it feel like getting all these new compliments and like new followers and new eyes on you, you know, marveling at what you've done now, but you knowing in your mind, like, okay, I have more that I want to do. Like, just watch. How does that feel?
Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate the love and support and the encouragement. I mean, I haven't received any negative comments, so which I'm great. I'm happy about that. But I've received mostly positive and encouraging, and you know, people just, you know, dropping messages and basically saying, you know, that you know, my story inspired them, and you know, they always wanted to own a hotel, or somebody bought like 11 acres of land. They're like, oh, you know, now we want to buy a hotel. We want to, you know, develop a hotel on it. So, I mean, it's been great, you know, it's actually getting a lot of the media attention. It definitely was a surprise. I will say that it was a surprise. It was not expected. You know, just, you know, being on TV shows and the press interviews and, you know, being on wonderful shows like WEInvested. So, it's been great. It's been a humbling experience. It's been grateful. Very grateful for the opportunities. I'm grateful and honored that people want to hear my story. I'm honored that my story is inspiring someone that I've never met or may never even meet. And that person may buy a hotel. They so inspired and motivated that, you know, they want to beat my record of being the youngest Black hotel owner. You know what I mean? So it's good. I know that eyes are watching. So that means I have to step up my game because I like being the best. I'm a little competitive, just a tiny bit. So yeah, it's a great feeling.
It's nothing wrong with being competitive. And speaking of inspiration, and you being an inspiration to people, who do you look up to for inspiration and why?
Oh, that's a great question. I've been fortunate to have been blessed with a lot of mentors throughout my career. Um, my grandmother, she was definitely an inspiration. My mom, she's definitely an inspiration. My dad, he passed away, but he was definitely an inspiration. So it started with home. I'm fortunate to come from a family with a lot of strong women. So that's been just growing up with all that love and support. My mentors throughout the industry, um, you know, uh, Valerie Ferguson and Erica Qualls Beatty and Kathleen Bertrand. Those are some phenomenal women. So I encourage for those who are trying to get into the hotel space or working in the hotel space to look those phenomenal women up to really understand their story. And my bosses along the way. So I've just been fortunate to have all those different types of inspirations to my failures. uh Definitely failed a lot of times. It was not easy, but I learned from it, and that inspired me to become a better person. But probably my biggest inspiration right now to date would be my son. He definitely lit the fire into me that I mean, I can't even describe the fire and burn that I just want to leave a legacy for him and create generational wealth and do things and provide him a life that I didn't have growing up. And to see him run through my hotel or our hotel, I'd say he's really the youngest hotel owner. And I know, right? And so it's been having him and seeing his joy and being able to work from home, which I can see him and not and be able to miss a lot of his important milestones. I'm able to see them, so I'm fortunate in that and feel inspired to continue to work, so that way I can be a great mom to him.
For sure, that's dope. So, how do you define success as an entrepreneur?
I define success is how you make it. My success may not be somebody else's success. So, and I tell people and I tell myself, I can't compare myself. I can't compare myself to somebody else's success because somebody else may not want to own a hotel. They may want to own a skyscraper. So in their mind, I'm not successful because in their mind, they want to own a skyscraper. Um, my goal is to be the best Davonne Reaves. I stay in my own lane. You know how when you driving and you kind of veer off and you go in different lanes and you kind of almost hit somebody. That's what you do. So I stay in my lane. So I stay in my lane because I don't want to get in an accident. I don't want to hit another car. Like I just want to stay safe in my lane unless I have to get off the exit to do something, right? So that would be my version of success. I have some goals, and throughout my life, my goals have changed, right? So, okay, I got my hotel check. In my mind, I'm still not successful. It's just more like I checked the box. Now it's like, okay, what's next? It's a lot of things that are on my plate, even for this year, that I want to do and I want to achieve. One is to create 221 hotel owners and investors. So after I do that at December 31st, check, I'll probably feel successful then. I take that back. I feel a little happy then. Yeah,
man, you have some big goals, and that's one thing that I admire. Is like you're not afraid to like shoot for the stars and the moon and all of that. Like your goals are huge.
I mean, they had to be. Like I was listening to Steve Harvey. I don't even know, he got 1 million jobs. I forgot if he was on the radio show, if he was on I don't know. But anyway, what he was saying to write down 300 goals that you want to do. I'm like, oh, that's easy. But what he said was, if you can't get to 300 goals, then you're not thinking big enough. So I went, I was like, let me do it. I can get to 300. Yo, it's actually kind of hard.
Right.
But what it allowed me to do, it allowed me to expand my mind and to think of all of these different things that I can do. So now I still have my list for those who thinking, yes, I do. And I go back and I check them off. I surely do. I got featured in here. I did this. I traveled here. I did X, Y, and Z. And it could be something simple. It's just going to a restaurant, going to an expensive restaurant, or going to one of my things. I wanted to go to Cairo, Egypt before I was 30. And I did that. Right. So, or, one of your goals, Wesley, was probably to start your own podcast. And you did. Like, you literally have your own podcast. You can say what you want. This is your voice. You can ask, it's people who think like you, who want to hear what you're bringing to the table, as far as guests, as far as conversations, and you're able to do that. Like, this is your passion, right? And so that can be a part of the 300 goals. What do you want to do within your business? Like, how many, downloads you want to have, or how many guests you want to have, or how many episodes you want to have. So people just kind of have to think of what they want to do as far as to complete their 300 goals. Don't even stop there. Go to 500. I mean, we are in a space right now where the sky is the limit. Like you said, reaching for the stars. There's so many, it's unlimited amount of stars and resources and connections. And we're just so blessed compared to our ancestors. There's really no excuse on why, and you don't have to be an entrepreneur. That's fine. My brother, he doesn't want to be, I use him as an example all the time because he doesn't want to be an entrepreneur. But my dad, he wasn't, some people, that's just not what they want to do. And that's perfectly fine. I'm not one of those people that'll shame me if you don't want to be an entrepreneur. I'm not going to do that, because the people who work 9 to 5s, they invest with people like us who are entrepreneurs, right?
Right. We all need each other for sure.
Exactly. It's a team effort,
For sure. So, how would you like for people to remember you and your companies?
You know what? I would like for them to remember me like, wow, you know what? Davonne provided me with some great information. Becoming a hotel owner or investor is attainable. And I would like to work with them.
For sure. So, what does the future of Epiq Collective look like to you?
The future of Epiq Collective definitely looks like acquiring more hotels, being more of a resource for folks who do want to invest. And also, I like to consider myself a game changer, right? So we put on this platform, on a large platform, that African Americans, not only African Americans, but African American women can buy hotels, right? So like, people don't realize that folks who own like 20 Airbnb units, you operate in a small hotel, right? So that means you can do it. It's just that whole mindset thing. So as far as Epiq Collective, now we're setting the stage for folks who want to come in and be better than Davonne, or want to be better than Jessica. So we're putting that fire in them, where they want to come in and they want to do something bigger and better. And I want to see that. You know what I mean? I would love to see that. I'm encouraging that. And I've realized that it's bigger than me. So Epiq Collective is bigger than what we envisioned Epiq Collective to be. Like, I didn't think, you couldn't tell me this was going to happen. It was literally buying a hotel. I know there's an opportunity for generational wealth. Let's get more Black folks into the hotel space. That's literally what I set out to do. And it just happened this way because I stuck with my passion. And I tell people that all the time. Well, I don't know what I want to do. Well, go with your passion. And literally, when you're passionate about something, you eat, sleep, breathe, drink it, and it's going to come true.
For sure. That's some very, very inspirational words of wisdom right there. And Davonne, I've definitely learned a lot. But look, at the end of every episode, we like to play a rapid fire question game. It's 3 questions. So if you're down for it, I'll go ahead and ask.
Man, come on. I'm down for challenges. What's up? Let's go.
All right. So look, question number 1. Where's your favorite place to travel?
Ooh, that's good. That's hard. You know what? I really loved Cuba.
Cuba. That's the first time I heard that. Why Cuba?
I mean, the food was great. The culture, the water is beautiful. Because I love going to the beach. I mean, it was just, I was able to escape because I didn't really have access to my phone like that. I'm a big history buff too, so it's a lot of culture, a lot of history. You know, a lot of, you know, Afro-Cubans. So I saw people who look like me or my family members. So that's probably like on my top list. I would love to I would love to go back when it's okay to travel there, when it's approved to travel there again.
Okay, that's dope. Okay, so question number 2. What song explains your life the most?
Oh, come on now. That's a toughie. What? You know what I'm gonna choose? I'm gonna choose Diva by Beyonce. That's my.
I knew it was gonna be Beyonce. I just felt it.
I mean, come on, I'm a part of the Beehive. What's up, y'all? I mean,
Fast. All right, question number 3 and the last one. What's an amazing thing that you did that no one was around to see?
ooh, amazing thing that I did that no one was around to see. Ooh. Amazing thing that I did that no, I mean, can it be my son? Like,
Yeah, of course.
I don't feel like I be doing anything amazing. He's the one that's amazing. Like when he like started walking, like he started, it was so funny. So when he started to walk, he didn't even tell me he was walking. Like I think he was like walking without me, like knowing, I mean, watching and stuff. And so he's just like moved one little leg. And I was like, oh, are you walking? And then he just stopped and fell to the floor. And then I turned my head and he started walking again. And I was like, just stop. And he just started walking. Like literally.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's what I think. I'm like, who does? And then, like recently, this is so crazy. He's 2. He literally just put together an alphabet puzzle on his own. I'm like, how did?
Man, you got you a baby genius.
I'm like, where did you come from? Like, he literally, like, I was like, we didn't even go over it together. I literally just took it out. I saw him working on it by himself. And yes,
man, that's something amazing that you'll never forget.
No, yeah. So he's more amazing than me. I'm boring. Like, he's the fun. Yeah. Nobody cares about me.
Look, I beg to differ, but look, Davonne, thank you so much for spending time with us and teaching us, and I definitely learned a lot through this interview. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much, Wesley. Thank you for asking the questions. Thank you for having me on the show, and appreciate all that you do. You team Epiq. I don't know why you low key. You team Epiq.
Yes, ma'am. Team Epiq for life.
That's what I'm talking about. Day 1 right here, y'all.
Thanks.